there, coming in averaging just a hair under 30 points per game on about 50% from the field. But good news for the 76ers as we take a look at those starting lineups. Yes, Joel Embiid is in the starting lineup tonight and has a streak of 11 consecutive games with 20 points or more. And that big three right now starting to gain some chemistry and momentum for the 76ers. Mark Jones courtside along with Tim Legler, George Sedano as well. And the Cavaliers will bring it across. Here's Garland in the backcourt. He'll match up against Edgecombe. Off the Mobley screen. Mitchell on the DHO. Sprays it out to Garland from deep. And the Cavs on the board.
That's a good sign for Cleveland right there. You get their double high screen action and then a kick out to an open Garland, and he's been on a little bit of a roll here, finding his rhythm again, Jonesy.
Still coming off that toe injury, trying to find his feet, literally and figuratively. Edgecombe to George, got a mismatch against Garland. Goes up, draws the foul. Buy one, get one free for Paul George.
That's great concentration. They saw the mismatch, and they're going to go to Paul George. Obvious size advantage on Darius Garland. He's very patient right here. He doesn't go right away because Evan Mobley is on the edge of the lane, and once he felt Darius Garland reach in right there, he knew that he could take that basketball up, get the contact, and then get it to go.
George coming off a 15-point game in their victory against Toronto a couple of nights ago. Added 4 rebounds and 6 dimes. Paul George fitting in comfortably, Tim, as the number 3 option now here in Philadelphia, coming off an injury that he suffered in the summer as Mobley hits the midi. Evan Mobley averaging a hair under 18 points per game. Cleveland up 5-2, just underway. Here's Maxey. Garland going to be challenged big time defensively tonight. George cross court. Edgecombe pulls it and knocks it down.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's just so confident right now. Had a blazing start to his rookie year, cooled off a little bit later in November, and now he's back again. Almost 20 a night over the last 14 games as Cavaliers come right back with an answer. Jarrett Allen.
Allen with that little jump hook makes it 7-5. He's averaging 14 a game. Cleveland undergoing a little bit different story than a season ago when they got out to a 15-0 start. Behind the back, it's back to Maxey. Embiid and Maxey playing some get game. Embiid off glass. Let's call it a pass to Barlow for the bucket.
Well, they were an assist. Yeah, they were intent on trying to get Maxey freed up, but that high ball screen by Embiid ends up with Barlow taking advantage of the open opportunity on the offensive glass.
Mitchell with the sweeping hook rattles it home. Boy, he's got everything.
Man, he's got every shot in the bag right there. That might be the most difficult shot Donovan Mitchell's going to take all night.
Embiid taking fewer threes than he did to start the season. Knocks that one down. He's 23% from downtown, and he has just breached the 13,000-point barrier. Embiid gets on the deck. It goes to Garland, out to Mobley. Sprays it out to Garland, who started it all. And Allen with the follow.
Well, that's unfortunate for Philly. Embiid with the great hustle in the backcourt to dive on that ball. But then it just becomes a scramble, a chaotic possession. Cleveland moves the ball nicely. Nobody there to block out Allen.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there on the Philadelphia 76ers part. Maxey and Embiid. Those two have worked together very seamlessly despite the absences of Embiid at times. Mitchell spins and pulls. Leaves that short, looking like he got hit. Here's Maxey on the break. Barlow with the offensive rebound. Another opportunity for the 76ers. Maxey around that punishing Embiid screen. Drives it right through Allen, lost the handle. It'll be Cavaliers basketball.
Yeah, Jarrett Allen that time does something that's really difficult, to be backpedaling, absorb the contact, and be able to rake down. He gets a piece of the ball off of Joel Embiid. You're seeing one of the top frontline defenders in the league and work on that possession.
Out to Mitchell, wide open from deep. That one comes off to Barlow, loose ball. Cavaliers have possession. Mitchell off glass. And Donovan Mitchell off to a good start. He's got 4 points already.
And he's so tough when he comes at you with a head of steam like that because he can go either direction with great balance.
Embiid back out top to Edgecombe. Here's George. 10 on the clock. Barlow open, and that's going to be way short. Allen running the floor. Somebody hit the snooze bar. And Allen gets an easy one. Cavaliers leading by 5. Looking to bounce back after maybe, Tim, their worst game of the season, a loss at home against the struggling Utah Jazz. And Kenny Atkinson was telling us in our pregame meeting with him that there have been times this year where he's had to press that button to get the team's attention, although he says after that Utah game, it wasn't one of those times.
Yeah, he said they've been prone to a few letdowns this year when guys weren't playing, or maybe they felt like they were playing, you know, one of those teams that's probably going to be in the lottery. It was weird in that one, Jonesy, because they just put up 146 on Minnesota the game before that, so you wouldn't expect that kind of flat performance against Utah.
Allen got it blocked from behind. Out to Mitchell with 14 on the clock. Tyson sprints into the ball screen. Mobley on the show and go. And his jump hook connects. When Evan Mobley makes a concerted effort to score, Tim, this is a different team.
Yeah, his level of aggressiveness is really a difference maker for this team. He's off to a great start. Cavaliers off to a great start.
Sixers head coach Nick Nurse told us the thing that sticks out in Joel's recent play is how he's driving to the basket, and that's how you know he's feeling right. Meanwhile, Paul George has played in 10 of the last 11 games, and Nurse added that the 9-time All-Star is back to being an elite-level perimeter defender and playing a perfect complementary role offensively. So whatever they need, he kind of provides. The thing that Nurse, though, was most proud of, guys, is how those two veterans have embraced Tyrese Maxey's ascension to being the primary scorer and the new face of the franchise. Maxey is the 3rd leading scorer in the entire NBA this season at just under 31 points per game. And Nurse mentioned it's rare to see in pro sports how genuinely happy these guys are for Tyrese to take the baton. It's a genuine testament to those guys' personalities and how beloved Maxey is in the locker room, Jonesy.
That's a great point, George. Tim, we've seen throughout the decades following the NBA that succession plan isn't always a smooth one, right?
Not at all. Look, it's actually easier to ascend as a scorer the way Tyrese Maxey has than to get the acceptance of your teammates while you're doing it. But that's his personality type. There's not 1 ounce of ego or narcissism about Tyrese Maxey's game.
Might be the happiest player in the NBA. Inside whistle and a foul going to go against the 76ers. Somebody had a hold of Allen. It'll go against the rookie B.J. Edgecombe. That's going to be his first personal foul. First team foul against the 76ers as Hunter and Merrill come into the ball game for the Cavaliers. Mobley and Mitchell will get a breather. Kelly Oubre also comes into the ball game for Dominic Barlow, as does Walker for the 76ers.
And you'll see they go with Garland and Allen when you're going to go with the one big this first combination, because they like the way they operate this 2-man game. The pocket passes by Garland to Allen are more readily available.
It's going to be a whistle and a foul against Oubre, who just checked into the ball game. Great conversation with Garland, who is still battling that preseason injury, that toe injury, had surgery during the offseason and still trying to find his rhythm. Toe injuries always sound somewhat cute and harmless, but they are anything but. He tells us he's only at, what, about 70%?
70%. And you know what that does in a league like this? That means there's another 50 guys that can stay with you off the dribble when you lose 30%. So
that's a pretty good 70, though.
That looks pretty good right there. And the numbers are picking up, and you can see it, the look in his face. He's playing with a little bit more comfort out there, even though he may be dealing with this the rest of the season.
Out top, Embiid hands it off to Maxey. Merrill defending him. Tough shot by Tyrese, who knocks it down. He is so good with those same hand, same foot floaters and layups. Hunter back home in Philadelphia, trying to rediscover his shooting touch. Tyson back out to Hunter on the reload. Used all of the iron, did a victory lap and fell.
And that's a relief right there, not only for DeAndre Hunter, I think for Kenny Atkinson as well, as DeAndre Hunter has really struggled from deep, certainly by his own standard that he has set throughout his NBA career from out there.
They empty out the side for Embiid. Now they tilt the floor, the double team comes, and he gets called for a traveling violation. So off the turnover, it'll be Cavaliers basketball. That's the 5th turnover already for Philadelphia. As Craig Porter Jr. comes into the ball game for Tyson.
You know, I saw that last shot by Hunter bounce, 4 times on the rim. The basketball gods 0-1. That's the way I used to look at those if I was struggling and you got one to roll in.
He had that shot on layaway. Garland with a 3-ball makes it 25-12. Cleveland in the middle of a 16-2 sprint right now.
Well, this is what he represents. I mean, he's elite off the dribble with his start-stop, but he can also do this. If you want to go under ball screens, Darius Garland can stop out to 28, 30 feet easily and let it fly. He's in a good rhythm here at the start.
On the fadeaway, comes off Edgecombe. Had to go out of bounds. It'll be Cleveland basketball. Cavaliers off to a good start here, shooting 61% from the field. Off the Allen screen. That pass coming in a little bit hot. Here's Porter Jr. to a cutting Merrill. Hunter on the baseline. Shot clock down to 5. Porter Jr. spins. Well defended by Maxey. And they get the stop. Maxey just 1 of 3 from the field so far. Back out to Embiid. And he walked again. That's the 6th turnover for Philadelphia.
Not sure if Joel Embiid is frustrated with the caller himself, but that was clearly a travel. He shuffled both feet before he put it down. Just a little bit too much of a hurry to get it going. He sets the screen. He wants to pop it. He wants to attack the closeout. You can see right there. Both feet move before that basketball is put down with his right hand. That's an easy call.
That game action has been very prolific for the 76ers this year. With those two, Embiid sits down. Adembona comes in. Hunter plunging his way into the paint and scores it. So good sign for him. And a nice offensive flow. It's 27-12.
He's a vital piece. He does so many things defensively and as a rebounder at the small forward spot to help you win. And when he's contributing that 15 to 18 consistently, they're a different team.
Well, look at the high-flying rookie, VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. Porter Jr. goes Twain out to Hunter in rhythm from deep. That's another one for DeAndre Hunter. 30-14, and he's 3 for 4 from the field.
That T-shirt that was pretty popular around here. It's a Philly thing for a while. That's what DeAndre Hunter's looking like right now. He likes playing here and likes coming back home, and he has a big smile on his face right now, which is good to see for Kenny Atkinson because of the struggles he's had.
Actually picked up his dribble. In trouble, and he found the bucket. Wow. 14-point lead for the Cavaliers. They run an empty corner 2-man game. Porter Jr., one more to Mitchell. One more, that's the hot guy. Left that one on the front rim, retrieved it. Mitchell from deep, that's gonna be off. And another opportunity from Mobley. Hunter, 2 for a quarter, not quite. 76ers dodge one. Oubre. Walker from the wing. And one and done for Philadelphia. Sixers shooting just 54%. Cavs with 7 offensive rebounds already. Mitchell off the screen. Sprays it out to Hunter. They are finding him. Couldn't oblige that time, and we're going to have a foul underneath. DeAndre Hunter finding his shooting touch here in Philadelphia on his homecoming. Tonight with Nathan Edgecombe, the rookie out of Baylor, 16 first so far with 5 in the ball game.
Well, DeAndre Hunter with 8 points in 4 minutes, so he's on pace for 52. He's 26.
Good quick math. DraftKings is the #1 sports book for live betting. Use promo code SPLASH when you sign up. Here's Watford. Hands it off to Maxey. Bona sprints into the ball screen. Merrill trying to contain Maxey. 4 on the clock. That one comes off to Hunter. Boy, we're talking about Hunter. He's got 7 jacks already in just 5 minutes. Stats that Tim Legler would certainly be proud of.
And after my own heart right here.
There's Grimes in the ball game off the turnover. That's the first turnover for the Cavs. Maxey draws the hit on Merrill, who's holding his hand. Maxey, meanwhile, will go to the foul line for a couple of shots.
And that's the call right there that more and more star players get. And Tyrese Maxey now is getting that level of respect on those drives. When you get just one shoulder on a defender, if you're able to feel any contact at that point, jump, get something in the air, up toward the backboard, more often than not, you're going to get a whistle. Tyrese Maxey getting to the line more.
Hey, let's take a look at the upcoming national TV schedule. Prime Video tomorrow night has the Grizzlies against the Magic at 2 o'clock Eastern time in Berlin. Oklahoma City Thunder taking on Houston at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Knicks Warriors at 10 p.m. Eastern. ESPN Friday has the rematch of this one at 7, followed by Timberwolves Rockets at 9:30. For more on these games, please go to NBA.com or visit the NBA app. Porter Jr. out to Hunter, drives it on Oubre. Mobley on the baseline, skip pass, one more. That's the guy you want shooting, not the desired result. Hunter thought about it, defers to Merrill. His floater comes off, and Adem Bona with the rebound. Quickly up to Grimes, drives it, and smoked the layup. Here's Mitchell. Boy, everything the buck for the buck at that time.
Yeah, when you shoot it with your right hand coming in from the left side, sometimes you can put too much English on it. That's what Quentin Grimes did, and that's what the price you pay. When you miss a layup and you've got a bunny on one end, oftentimes you get caught in a cross match, you don't match up in transition, and the Cavaliers make them pay.
Merrill hits the 3. He's got a streak of 3 games with 3 or more threes. Maxey, a logo 3. That comes off. Right to Merrill. 17 seconds to go in the opening 12 minutes. Cleveland in control by 15 points so far. Mitchell out top. Out to Hunter, pulls the 3. Rattles halfway down and out. Oubre with the rebound. And that's the end of the first quarter of play. The Cavaliers leading 33 to 18 on 47% from the field. Back after this.
Here, what was working for you guys?
I think we were pushing the pace. We got to our spots, got good spacing, and just made the right decisions.
Now, we know Maxey, Embiid, Paul George, those guys can get going at any given moment. How do you guys handle them defensively?
We just got to play as a group, keep showing help as much as possible, and make them take tough shots.
Evan, thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Jonesy?
Well, Paul George just knocked down a tough shot on the corner 3.
The story of the first quarter, Jonesy, was this simple. Cleveland Cavaliers had 30 field goal attempts. The Sixers had 16. That's because the Cavs took care of the ball, and they had 8 offensive rebounds in that quarter. Philly's got to clean that up.
Lonzo Ball misfires from the baseline. 76ers with a season-low 18 points in that previous quarter. George inside, Watford. Little uphill DHO action to Edgecombe for 3. Wow, he overcooked that one. Bona with the rebound, 5 on the shot clock. Adem Bona going strong to the bucket. He draws the hit.
I'm not sure there's a player in this league that plays with more energy consistently in the minutes he gets than Adem Bona. He's just always in the middle of the action when he's out there. And, of course, with Embiid off the floor, Nick Nurse has choices now. Is he going to go with Andre Drummond? Is he going to go with Bona? He said typically if Embiid doesn't play, he likes Drummond in that starting role with all that veteran experience. But as reserve minutes are available, that could be more Bona with the athleticism that he gives you and the quickness. But Drummond, one of the all-time great rebounders this league has seen.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that he was averaging a double-double. Meanwhile, Bona on the floor right now with 65% free throw shooter. 76ers trying to claw their way back into this ball game, down by 10 now. It's Ball, Hunter, Mobley, Mitchell, and Porter Jr. for the Cavaliers. Mitchell splits the double. Hunter, after making his first 3 shots, missed his next few. Mobley hits down the long 2. You know, they've been trying to empower him, especially at the offensive end as George tries to counter and does from downtown.
Yeah, this is Paul George's time right now. When you get this run with Embiid and Maxey both on the bench at the start of the second quarter, they like to put the ball in Paul George's hands a little bit more.
Oh, nice ball fake by Porter Jr. Couldn't cash out. Goes out of bounds. It'll stay at that end. Cleveland ball.
Yeah, Paul George in a very comfortable spot on this team right now. Just had already hit one, so you know now he's going to walk into that dribble handoff, and he's going to be anticipating a shot. Back-to-back threes, getting the Sixers back in and cutting into this lead.
Had that arthroscopic procedure on his left knee in mid-July. Delayed the start of the season for him. Here's Mitchell. Tried to rip through against Grimes. 7 on the shot clock. That high gather, which is a patented move, and he gets it to fall. First bucket of the quarter for Cleveland. They lead by 11. Bona inside, got fouled on the ground. Boy, look at this move by Donovan Mitchell. He has an array of finishes.
Yeah, he and Maxey so similar in this regard. Like their ability right there. I couldn't tell if Grimes hit the ball right there. Could have been up and down, but Mitchell, he's so good at the touch shots, the floaters, while he's going full speed toward the basket from awkward distances. Those 8 to 10 foot shots on those kind of floaters are incredibly difficult, particularly along the baseline with no depth perception behind you.
Officials discussing what's to follow. Bona will go to the free throw line. But back to Donovan Mitchell. You know, speaking with one of the coaches for the Cavaliers prior to the game, we're talking about just how great he is at being accountable as the superstar face of the franchise. In a recent film session, where sometimes it's easy, Tim, you know this to be true, to not criticize the star player. Donovan is the first to hold himself accountable when talking about offensive rebounds in said film session. He jumped in and said, "Coach, don't worry about the offensive rebound. That was a bad shot I took." So he makes it a little bit easier for Kenny Atkinson and the rest of the staff sometimes. Bona knocks down the second free throw. He has 4 points in the ball game. Mitchell's efficiency has been off the charts this year. 50% and almost 30 per game. Good defense by George, though. 8 on the shot clock for Mobley. Playing with his food out there. Tough shot. And the Sixers get the stop. Edgecombe on the break. Relocates for 3. Bona battling underneath, but it comes off to Mitchell. Quickly up the ball, and now Hunter. Sixers back defensively in transition. Here's Mobley. Back to ball, open for 3. This one falls. Lonzo Ball was a big acquisition for them in the summertime.
He was, and it really not about his scoring, and that's a bonus right now with Ball. If he is out there on the floor pushing pace, he's going to reward guys, and he plays the tempo that Kenny Atkinson thinks is best for his team. Ball fits right into that.
Quentin Grimes misfires. The lead still at 12 for Cleveland. Mobley in rhythm from deep. And Watford surveys. George against Mobley on the wing. Jabs him and pulls the 3. Contact underneath, no whistle. Cleveland has numbers if they choose. Mitchell piercing the paint and gets the layup.
You just cannot backpedal against Donovan Mitchell in a casual state. You've got to be shoulder to shoulder, because if he sees any gap, he's got that base that he can get in there, and he's so strong and on balance at all times around the rim. That's a poor job defensively in transition by the Sixers.
Watford from downtown laces the 3. Watford is on the board. Good defense by Edgecombe to blow up that wide action. Here's Ball. Mitchell again fighting against Edgecombe. Mobley gets that one to cash out. Evan Mobley, 4 of 6. He's got 9 in the game, too.
And look, they take 42 at night, which is 3rd in the league as a team. They're going to get over 50 at this rate. They're already at 19 with 7.5 minutes to go in the first half.
1 and done for the 76ers. Cleveland with 45 on the board already. Mitchell lost it to George and commits the foul, too. It'll be Sixer basketball down by 14 as Embiid checks back into the ball game for Philadelphia. As does Jared Allen and Darius Garland and Jalen Tyson.
That was a better job defensively by Philly, anticipating Mitchell was going to go to his right hand there in that little semi-transition. Cut him off pretty well, and one of the few times you'll see him stumble or lose balance, and there was just too much traffic in there, couldn't make a play.
Cleveland with 3 team fouls. Philadelphia doesn't have any yet with 7:20 to go in the second quarter. Watford on the handle. Into George. Draws the foul, and a little window shopping for PG-13.
Now, he's so patient when he gets an opportunity right here. He likes to operate out of the mid-post. He's surveying the defense right there, and it's very similar to the basket he made earlier against Darius Garland. If he senses that you're going to reach forward with that arm, and it's going to be in that area where he can take the basketball straight up through it, he's going to earn the contact, and then you've got to have the concentration to stay with the shot and earn just 1 free throw instead of 2.
George, an 87% foul shooter, completes the 3-point play. Lead down to 11. He's got 11 in the ball game. Allen and Merrill rips through against Maxey off glass, and it comes off the Grimes. Sixers can get it under double digits. Going to go against Merrill here. They found a matchup. George with a nice step through. Couldn't finish. Embiid with the offensive rebound. Pump fakes. Got it packed. Right back to George. One more. Edgecombe. And Tomlin corrals the ball for the Cavs.
And you can see some of the limitations of Joel Embiid on that offensive rebound. He just is reluctant to go ahead and jump explosively, really stay grounded, and the Cavs able to block that putback attempt.
And Merrill, had he been about 1.5 feet taller, he'd have made that catch. Instead, it's a turnover. With 6:16 to go in the first half, Kenny Atkinson's
in the second quarter. Now let's see if they can get their 2 stars going offensively.
Jared McCain coming into the ball game, second-year player out of Duke. And being ISO'd on the wing against Allen, that one falls.
That's a nice touch. I mean, that's where that size and that shooting touch, it just defies logic. But he's squaring him up. If he gets space, that's a very easy 18-foot jump shot for Joel Embiid. He'll take that every time.
He's got 5 in the ball game. Garland counters, lacing the 3. And Cleveland back up by 12. Embiid and Maxey. Maxey pulls the 3 and knocks it home.
That's a tough situation there for Merrill. You're talking about a dribble handoff with Embiid. It's a wide screen to run around, and if you're late against Maxey, give him that kind of time. He's going to shoot that at a very high rate, 48% from the 3 in January. But here you see Merrill right there just gets clipped enough, and with Jared Allen back at the foul line, Maxey knew that he was going to come off with plenty of clearance.
That's one of the big focuses of his training this summer, was being able to shoot off the dribble, especially the 3-ball. He's completing it at about 40% on the season. Garland tried to hit the pocket, the pass deflected, and here's Paul George. George lost the handle out of bounds. It'll stay at that end. Philadelphia basketball. He had McCain open in the opposite corner. Nick Nurse looking for a foul on the grab as Mobley gets ready to come back into the ball game for Cleveland. .507 to go in the first half. Oubre to Embiid. Rips through, no whistle. Mobley, Garland, 2-on-1. blocked by George, but a foul committed on the play. And Embiid looking for a whistle at the other end. Nick Nurse all the way out on the floor. But when the dust settles, Darius Garland will go to the free throw line. There's the play in question, which led to the fast break. Back after this break.
So, again, he's so used to getting that call as a guy that's been one of the high-volume free throw shooters in this league for a long time. I think that's why he was surprised and frustrated.
Meanwhile, the Cavaliers shooting their first free throws of the game. You know, Darius Garland telling us prior to the game tonight that when I asked him about his injured toe, he is wearing a special orthotic in that shoe to compensate for that toe surgery that he had, and a toe spacer to give his foot a little bit more comfort while he continues to recover from it. 12 points in the ball game for him. Embiid wide open, and he knocks it down. Boy, somebody went to sleep there, Tim.
Yeah, all kinds of space right there. Joel Embiid even surprised when he caught that and turned around and saw no one rotating to him. So the two easiest shots he's had tonight in that 15-foot range.
Lead is down to 8, under 4.5 to go. Tyson rejected by Embiid. There's the defensive component by the former MVP, Maxey. And Merrill with the board.
That's a great sign for Joel Embiid and the Sixers, because he's been reluctant to add that last level of rim protection, particularly when he's backpedaling. His ability to get off the ground hasn't really been there, but he did it on that last one.
Catch and shoot by Merrill. That one on the front rim. Back out to Tyson. His floater is short. And he throws it away. Nobody home.
And this is what I'm talking about. And even Nick Nurse alluded to it for the game, that the explosiveness and willingness just haven't been there. That's a difficult play right now for Joel Embiid to make, and he's been making it throughout his career. To jump and then stay with it in the air long enough as Tyson tried to switch hands. Big-time rejection by Joel Embiid.
George back to Embiid on the pick and pop. And rebounded by the Cavaliers. Joel Embiid tonight, 3 of 7 from the field. He's got 7 points. Mobley. Garland drives it immediately. Float game. Used all the iron and got another one. He got a lot of jelly in his game, folks. 14 points.
Man, that was a lightning-quick attack on that ball reversal. He wasted no time. He's already tough enough to guard without a head of steam, but he was already moving toward the basket on the catch. Impossible to keep him in front.
In the corner, McCain working against Garland. Good defense by Garland, and they get the stop. Mobley underneath, fouled by Embiid, who got hit in the face. Wasn't that long ago that Joel had to wear a mask. Remember, he was wearing that mask, I think it was last year.
He's had a couple different facial fractures in the course of his career, and he takes a left hand right there from Mobley fighting for the basketball. Inadvertent for sure, but he definitely got hit in the face.
Yeah, Arthur Embiid's dad having a tough time tonight with physicality. 76ers and Nick Nurse going to challenge the call on the floor.
Embiid in the face. A fraction of a second first.
Hit Embiid. Therefore, this is going to be overturned to a loose ball foul on Mobley. The challenge is successful. Play will resume with 2 free throws for Embiid on the penalty.
So successful challenge by the 76ers, resulting in 2 free throws for Joel Embiid.
Talk about bang-bang plays. This literally was a bang-bang play. Both guys exchanging a couple of blows, but it was just a slightly before Embiid reached across Mobley's body and hit him in the face. Mobley's left arm caught Joel Embiid in the head as he was trying to secure that rebound. I think they got this one right.
But look at the stats on Embiid in the last 11 games, folks. 28 per. Over 8 rebounds. And we've seen signs tonight even of his increased agility and strength, especially at the defensive end.
The thing that he really was not doing at all his first 8-10 games was going from point A to point B on the back line of defense, covering 6, 8, 10 feet like centers do, and then exploding off the ground to offer rim return. seeing a little bit more of that lately. Still doesn't have a lot of lift around the basket offensively, so most of his production still coming on short jump shots and at the foul line.
Garland rejects the screen, sprays it out to the wing. Mobley on the drive up top, cut off by Barlow. Mobley dragged his pivot foot and gets whistled for the travel. A good defense by the 76ers.
And Barlow and Bona, both of those guys have done a great job on Evan Mobley when he's tried to take them off the dribble, beating him to the spot, and they've got enough size, you know, to guard that 6'11" length.
Here's Maxey off the Embiid screen. Maxey, great pocket pass. Embiid on the show and go, gets it to fall. That's the part of the game that Tyrese Maxey was working on all summer, how to control that pocket. Inside Mobley with a tough catch, one more. Allen and one. Boy, wonderful interior passing legs.
Yeah, 2 passes there made on the interior, one off the penetration and then a big to big. Jared Allen just finding that open pocket in front of the rim and just waiting it out. So the first one is here by Garland. This is a tough pass along the baseline that gets Barlow and Embiid to react to it. 2 defenders run to the first pass. Jared Allen just waiting for one more find, and he gets a 3-point opportunity.
Fails to complete the 3-point play. Their lead remains 8. Embiid has scored the last 6 in a row for the 76ers. Let's see if he gets a touch here off the wide action. It's Maxey. Again off the Embiid screen, again out of the pocket. Embiid fouled by Tyson, so it was rinse and repeat offensively. And Embiid will go back to the free throw line. Great discernment here by Maxey. This is the part of the game that he worked on this summer.
Yeah, patient right there with the footwork. He does that little 180 spin to get Tyson confused on which direction he was going, and that allowed Embiid to have some space because of the big hovering to help on Maxey. Embiid had that big pocket of space that he quickly took up and then drew the contact.
Embiid at the free throw line, an 85% free throw shooter. Starting to find his offensive rhythm here in the second quarter. Our AFC divisional round matchup is set for Sunday afternoon. The Texans taking on second-seeded Patriots at 2:45 p.m. Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Coverage begins with postseason NFL countdown at noon Eastern on ESPN.
And Jonesy, right now the free throw line has kept the Sixers in the game. I mean, this is now their 11th made free throw. Cleveland just 1 for 3 from the line. So Philly a +10 at the free throw line, only down 6.
Mobley. Hunter back in the ball game. Back to Mobley inside. That sweeping jump hook. Counted and one. I talked about Evan Mobley, Tim, and just how they've tried to force feed him and empower him.
Yeah, you saw in the second half of last year, I thought, just take another step with his assertiveness offensively. It's a really nice read. The screen, and then you see so many bigs setting the screen on that area of the floor and popping out to the 3-point line. He realized that he had an opportunity to get a steal and then that quick dive into the middle of the lane. And then he's got that nice jump hook. I mean, he's 7 feet tall, and when he extends on that jump hook, you're not getting a piece of that.
He invited his Cavalier teammates out to Los Angeles to work out and have informal workouts in August. This past summer, they spent about 5 days out there doing 2-a-days and going up and down 5-on-5 and slapping some bones, playing dominoes, getting some team bonding done. Embiid right back to it from the nail. That one a little bit strong. Mobley with the board with 1.5 to go. Mobley on the bounce. Got Embiid in the air, didn't go up with it. Garland off of Allen's hand, and here come the 76ers down 8. George, one more to the corner. And Hunter with the board. Garland, Mobley, whistle, and an offensive foul underneath as Allen ran over Paul George.
Boy, that was the beginning of some beautiful ball movement there on the part of the Cavs. I think it was 4 different passes, and they were barely over half court. But Jared Allen unfortunately was not able to put the brakes on as he cut down the lane, and nice job defensively to draw that offensive foul.
Read Kenny Atkinson's lips. He said, how can you call that? How can you call that? Mobley with the rebound off the George miss. 48 seconds to go in the first half. Cavaliers shooting 49% from the field. Garland against the rookie, now Mobley. Got downhill, and that's how you finish. This summer, he worked on running a lot of inverted pick and roll with him as the ball handler. And he's pretty smooth with it, Tim, as a big, right? I mean, we've seen him do it at times.
It really is, and like, he works so well with Garland. Did most of the work on that last possession, and there was just a vacuum there on that dribble handoff to allow Mobley to get to the rim.
Mitchell out front, conspicuous by his silence offensively. He's got 8. Double teamed out to Hunter. A high arcing 3. Butter. His 4th field goal makes it a 13-point lead for the Cavs. Maxey in a rush. Mobley blocked it at the buzzer. So Mobley doing it at both ends. That's the end of the first half. Coming up on the halftime, the Hyundai halftime, presented by Hyundai Palisade. Malika, Brian, Coach, and Perk. Denver has stayed afloat without Joker. Mobley with a big first half. Embiid found his way in the second quarter. Malik and the crew coming up in just a bit.
Them down, and more importantly, they've got to find some rhythm offensively.
George has more on the Sixers.
So Jonesy legs. I talked to Nick Nurse here coming out of the half, and he alluded to what you were talking about, legs, but he wasn't thrilled about the way his defense was playing there. He said they had no resistance in that first quarter. They started doing a little better in the second quarter, but they need a level of physicality moving forward that they have not seen yet to this point in the half if they're going to try to win this one, Jonesy.
All right, they lacked a little physicality on the defensive boards that time. That foul against Edgecombe, allowing Tyson to get in there for the offensive board. Tyson getting the start tonight. He started 21 other times so far this year, but Coach Kenny Atkinson alluding to the fact that he gives them some pretty good size, some shooting, because he is 44% from downtown.
And he also alluded to the fact that Sam Merrill, who had been starting, was going to give them a little bit more pop on the bench. He wanted some more scoring coming off that bench because Merrill has been absolutely on fire coming into tonight from the three-point line in the month of January.
Embiid around the three-point circle. Mitchell guarding him. And now they tilt the floor. Bring over Allen. George in the corner. 2 on the shot clock. Got to get busy. And Embiid got it to go on the follow. 61-49 just underway here in the third quarter. Garland, the big first half with 14 for the Cavs. Tyson couldn't turn the corner. Mitchell launching the 3. And it's wet. Donovan Mitchell with 11. Barlow back quickly. Nowhere to go as Mobley shut the door, and Barlow careens to the court hard. Sixers commit the foul to stop the play, and the athletic training staff will tend to Dominic Barlow, who was holding his lower back. But there was no whistle as Evan Mobley made a clean block, it appeared, on the play. Edgecombe took the foul to stop the play. You know, we talked about it at halftime. Of course, there's silence now because of the circumstance, Tim, but the building has been devoid of the usual, quote-unquote, Philly energy tonight.
And what provides that for this team in this crowd? 2 things. One, Tyrese Maxey, like those scoring binges that he goes on. He's the guy that the crowd reacts to, but it's also just pace of play in general. When the Sixers are playing really fast up and down the floor, the crowd gets into it.
One more look at Barlow crashing to the court. There's the clean block. We don't quite catch him falling. Here's a better angle. His leg might have got caught underneath.
Yeah, I thought at first you know, it looked like a back issue, and I couldn't tell before we saw the replay, but now it's clearly a lower body injury where his leg got wrapped up under him on that fall.
Barlow averaging 9 points a game for the 76ers squad, the consummate role player. Good wing defender for the 76ers, who defensively are just outside the top 10 in defensive rating. They'll take him back into the locker room and get a closer look, an examination from the athletic training staff.
And it's a shame for Barlow, because he is a guy that has just earned his way into this rotation. And when I asked Nick Nurse about him specifically before the game, immediately just said, you know, how has he done it? How is, you know, it's got to be a nice surprise finding a guy like Barlow to add to the rotation. He said he just absolutely plays harder than most people, and he knows how to play. He's smart and he works hard, and it's the kind of thing that most coaches are going to reward.
First 2 years with the Spurs, then with the Atlanta Hawks, now with the 76ers. Sideline out of bounds. Here's Mobley. Mitchell with that high gather gets it to fall.
Well, you talked about it a lot. It's patented, right? It's swinging the ball over the head, basically, of the first defender in front of you. He has mastered it. It's something he works on. He practices that in his pregame routine, and he's already hit a couple of them tonight.
Biggest lead of the ball game for the Cavaliers. Edgecombe inside, fouled by Mobley. But as we look at Mitchell, sometimes that can be a dangerous play, Tim.
For sure.
Because defenders could get caught in the jaw on this, too. I've seen it.
That can happen, and it's also like the ball's kind of loose when it's up there above your head. You know, it's easy to lose it. You've got one hand on the basketball, but like I said, Donovan Mitchell, so good at it. He lets the first defender that's guarding him off the dribble sort of clear out by taking the ball over their head, and then immediately gathers into a short floater.
Ramped up aggression offensively this year. Donovan Mitchell averaging a hair under 30 per game as Edgecombe knocks down the second foul shot. The lead down to 15. Just underway here in the second half. Mark Jones, Tim Legler, George Sedano courtside.
Sixers go to a little 2-3 zone here, try to mix it up against the Cavs.
That's 40% from downtown right there. Donovan Mitchell. The lead back up to 69-51. Maxey on the give and go, couldn't find the handle.
And just out of sync right now on both ends for the Sixers. And they go into this zone, and it shouldn't be this easy. You see, Tyrese Maxey over-rotated to the basketball and had too great a distance to cover, but here you go, DJ Edgecombe with the breakaway and trying to get this crowd into the game a little bit.
He's got 9 in the ball game. Lead at 16, 76ers in zone. There's the zone buster, this time off the mark. Mitchell with the miss, and here's Paul George. Walker back out to Embiid. Off to George on the wing. Snatches it back, drives it on the baseline. Well defended. Mobley packed it. And here's Mitchell on the cross. Out to a wide open Garland, unimpeded, and couldn't cash out. Maxey over to Embiid. Well, the Cavaliers doing a good job of top blocking and denying passes tonight, Tim.
Yeah, they're just sharper on both ends. Defensively, they're making Philly work much harder. Offensively, the ball reversals, the cuts, everything is being done with a purpose right now. There you see it right there.
And the ball
beautiful
popping.
Ball movement.
Mitchell, floater, cut the check. 71-53, the lead ballooning to 18 as Mitchell counts 18 points. Edgecombe rejects the screen, back out to Embiid. Allen closes out, and they get another consecutive stop. Tyson. 76ers have to be careful here not to lose contact as Mitchell draws the foul on the rookie. Boy, everybody got a touch on this last sequence.
Oh, this is what we've been talking about really since the start of the game. I mean, the hard rim run by Allen creates all of this. Sixers then retreat to the lane. They never really catch up to the basketball. Mitchell attacks a closeout on Edgecombe and ironically ended up with a pretty difficult shot after great ball movement on that possession. But you could just see the Sixers in a state of really confusion that entire possession, trying to catch up to the ball.
And they caught the 76ers napping defensively on the sideline out of bounds. Garland will be credited with the bucket. He's got 16. Nick Nurse's team leaking a little bit of oil right now with 8:13 to go in the third.
And I think, for me, the guy I'm looking at right now, Tyrese Maxey, look, this guy has an opportunity potentially to be an all-star starter. He's going to make an all-league team, I believe, this year. And right now, he needs to put this team on his back a little bit, show some aggressiveness offensively.
Walker left that on the rim. Here's Garland into the front court. Rejects the drag screen. On that Nash dribble, lays it home. And the lead up to 22. Darius Garland with his handles on display. And a chorus of boos showering down onto the court.
His base, he is so strong and on balance. And he also has the ability to go either direction. And then we've talked multiple times about the different number of shots that he has at the end of these drives. He doesn't have to get all the way to the rim, Jonesy, because he has mastered that area from 5 feet to 10 feet and understanding how to get off those floaters over a backline defender.
So George Sedano mentioned it during the break to us that high gather move is a move that was inspired by Dwayne Wade, that Donovan Mitchell kind of patented it after. From the wing, Maxey. Walker with the rebound. Maxey going to try another one. Second one falls.
That's the first time he's really strung together even looks. So to get 2 open three-point shots back-to-back, he kind of knew he was going to make that second one. And this needs to be an infusion of Tyrese Maxey offensively here for the Sixers to get back into this game.
So you don't mind if he hunts a few shots here then? Is that what you're trying to say?
And there's a reason this was a design set out of the timeout. They ran him off a double screen from the weak side to the strong. Nice work on the offensive glass by Walker. And if you give a guy that's as accurate as Tyrese Maxey back-to-back looks on the same side of the floor without really having to work too hard, he's going to cash in on the second one.
7:14 to go in the third. Allen out top. Here's Mitchell. 10 points in the quarter for Donovan Mitchell. Crosses on George. The step back midi rattles out. Mobley going for the offensive rebound, but it comes off to Walker. 19-point advantage for the Cavaliers. Maxey off the Embiid screen. Over to Paul George. That baseline jumper is good by George. He's got 13. He's just at 17 for the Cavaliers. Cleveland coming into the night 22-19. Just 8-9 on the road. Garland with a deep three. And one and done again, and that's going to be a foul against Allen. That is the second team foul against the Cavaliers.
Jonesy, I have an update on Sam Merrill. He has a right hand injury, and he's questionable to return. But one thing to note, he jammed his hand, that right hand. That's the same hand that kept him out of 14 games earlier this season, Jonesy and Legs.
That break. He's a guy that's really been empowered by Donovan Mitchell this year. From the wing, good. Grimes. 76ers trying to claw back into this ball game. Quentin Grimes re-signing with the squad as a free agent this summer.
Yeah, Kenny Atkinson with the timeout. He doesn't like this little run by Philadelphia, trying to get it to a...
Fans like that already? Big time, kid. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I got ball, I got ball. Oh, my God. You by yourself, you by yourself. Hey, yours, yours, yours. Fire! Fire!
Garland with a lot to say out there, and Walker's game is doing the talking after that dunk.
And I'll tell you what, that little burst they had before that timeout has totally renewed their defensive energy. They are getting up now. You can see how far out extended they are. Cavaliers still moving the basketball pretty well. Come up short.
Wow, and being careening into row 2. And caught by some of the fans there. And that got the crowd lit a little bit, finally here tonight. A palpable pulse Embiid going head first here.
Crowd loves it. I'm not sure about Nick Nurse. Had to be holding his breath a little bit.
Yeah,
watch that.
Yeah, that bucket by Garland, Tim, snapping a 10-0 run for the 76ers. Garland with 20 in the game on the stampede drive. Embiid, what a dime to Grimes, who fails to cash out. Tomlin was open on the hit. Tyson around the world and got the lay to go.
That was a nasty behind the back move that he just put on Grimes. Grimes thought he had him red to cut off that right hand, and he just whipped that around his back and was able to get to the rim before Embiid could get there.
Lead back to 16 points. A long three by Maxey, short. Rick Porter Jr. ready to check in for the Cavaliers and Kenny Atkinson. Garland off the drag screen. Working against Grimes. Snakes it. Sprays it out to Tyson. Shot clock at 10. Tyson got peeled clean by Maxey. Good defense by Tyrese Maxey. Walker back out to Embiid, the trailer, unguarded. And the lead back to 13. Embiid with 18. This building looking for a few more things to cheer about. Garland working against Walker, lost it. Grimes on the deck. Maxey with a little bit of room service. Here they come. Timeout, Cavaliers. And Garland shaken up on the play. Garland still laying on the court for the Cavaliers. One more look.
Yeah, multiple efforts defensively by the Sixers. Walker, Grimes on the floor, and Maxey finishes it off.
New year, same extra value meals. From breakfast to late night, make it a meal and save. Value is still on the menu, only at McDonald's.
Good things get better. Whoa, you know where I wanna go. Dancing in the afterglow. Sunset putting on a show. Oh, whoa.
Wellness perfectly picked for you. Now at Target.
Febreze. Love your plugins but wish you had more scent control? Meet the Febreze Plug Scent Booster. Enjoy the same 50 days of continuous scent as Febreze Plug, including a cord for flexible placement options and a boost button for extra scent. Febreze Plug Scent Booster.
Unlike other value meals, Arby's new $7.99 meat and 3 box has 3 sides, not just one. It's more meal for your money. Seriously, it's more meal for your money. Oh, where'd that come from?
Arby's, we have the meats.
One more look at the sequence a moment ago before we went to commercial. Darius Garland tripping and then slow to get up in the aftermath of this exchange. And you see him wincing in pain and grabbing his right foot. Right now on the bench for Kenny Atkinson. Remember, he had a left big toe surgery in June and missed 17 games this season to manage that injury. 76ers on a 15-4 sprint. Here's Mitchell. Inside, Mobley in traffic, couldn't convert. And Kelly Oubre coming back the other way with pace. Maxey out to Embiid, made the last three. Left that short, loose ball to Mitchell. Mitchell on Grimes. A high-arcing three, rips cord. And Donovan Mitchell, 9 of 17 for 21 points.
And he typically is the guy that's going to try to answer runs. He knows right now the momentum has changed a little bit in this game. Donovan Mitchell's going to be aggressive when he gets the opportunity.
Hunter takes it right at Embiid. No resistance for the lane. And Hunter with another field goal, his 5th of the game. He has 13 tonight. They have blunted that surge by the 76ers a little bit. Actually off the Embiid screen. Snakes the dribble against Porter. Embiid fading away over Mobley.
Man, even without the normal lift, He's just so big with that shooting touch. If he puts a shoulder into your chest and gets you back on your heels, he's going to knock that down. It's an easy one for him.
They had the Sixers in rotation like rotisserie chicken defensively. And Mitchell hits the three. Darius Garland going back to the locker room to be attended to. Boy, once again, Tim, great ball movement offensively by the Cavaliers. At the other end, Walker couldn't connect. And Mitchell will bring it up. One-on-one against Grimes. And draws the hit. At halftime, Cleveland had 20 assists. Unbelievably. They're up to 28 already. As Mitchell goes to the free throw line for a couple of shots. That ball has been popping tonight for the Cavaliers. And if you're a Cavalier fan, you're wondering, where's this been all season? They've been in sync. Mitchell at the free throw line, a 84% foul shooter. Folks, tip off your weekend with our ESPN NBA Friday doubleheader. The Cavaliers and 76ers will run it back right here at 7 Eastern, followed by the Timberwolves taking on the Rockets. NBA Countdown gets it all started at 6:30. The Timberwolves, Tim, have been, I believe, the hottest team in the NBA going back to Thanksgiving. They're playing some of their best basketball of the season.
Yeah, they've had a couple of real signature wins here lately, too. That comeback against San Antonio at the top of the list the other night, erasing a 16-point deficit late. Great contributions from Julius Randle, and Anthony Edwards took over the game. So Minnesota absolutely right now finding their rhythm.
See the Timberwolves on Friday night on our card. The lob up top, a Dembona with a little bit of bounce. Under 2 minutes to go in the third. Donovan Mitchell has shown great dominion over the offense for Cleveland. That three rims out to Grimes. Grimes got peeled clean. Whistle and a foul is going to be called. They're going to call that against Tomlin. It's going to be his second, and an incredulous Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, it looked
Can't
like,
believe it.
It looked like he had the steal clean right there, and almost looked like the contact took place after the ball was knocked loose.
Not sure that wasn't quite a delayed reaction, but sideline out of bounds, 76ers. Maxey probing. Walker inside, one more to Bona. 5 on the shot clock, and they give it away. Mitchell against Oubre. On the tween, inside. And he draws another foul. Boy, Donovan Mitchell relentlessly and ruthlessly attacking the paint tonight, Tim.
And he's so tough because when he's coming out of the backcourt with a live dribble, you know that he has the propensity to stop on a dime and elevate for that three. You have no choice as a defender but to shift your weight forward, and that is when he'll hit you with a crossover between the legs, one more quick, and then that big stride to try to get past you and drawing contact the entire time. He's just a natural scorer, and there is no real answer. There's not a personnel package to throw at him. There's not a scheme, really, for a guy like Donovan Mitchell, particularly when he's making jump shots as he has in this quarter.
He's really been able to carry stretches of the game for this team. And telling me a little bit earlier, Mark, I like everybody else to eat first, and then I come in and do my thing. And that's kind of the pattern that has evolved here tonight. He was single digits in the first half, and he's already up to 28 now, Tim.
It was Garland and Mobley in that first really quarter and a half, and before Donovan Mitchell really got some shots going late. But this has been his quarter, trying to hold off the Sixers in a couple of runs they've made.
Walker can't connect, and here's the ubiquitous Mitchell leading the break. What a catch and punch by Hunter.
And that was clever by Mitchell. He looked back toward half court with his eyes as if he was going to hit a trail three shooter, and Hunter just kept running. And just that little bit of work by Donovan Mitchell with his eyes was what froze that defender and allowed that dunk.
Wow, they blitzed Grimes and flipped him again, and they get the turnover. Boy, defensively they have been suffocating. Offensively, Mitchell dishing out to everybody.
That's beautiful right there. You see him looking at the trailer, and maybe that just caused enough indecision on the part of Maxey, and Hunter just kept running to the rim. I think he knew he was going to get rewarded the entire time.
Finds Hunter on the pick and roll. Walker with the rebound off the miss. It's about a 7-second difference between the shot and game clock. As Maxey walks it across into the front court. Maxey just 5 of 16 shooting tonight. They hit him with 2. Here's Walker in the slot. Cross court to Grimes. 3 on the clock. And a tough look for the Sixers. They turn it over, Cleveland does, though. Oubre converts. The lead is 18. Porter Jr. It'll count. And that's the end of the first 36 minutes of play. The Cleveland Cavaliers getting a huge quarter from Donovan Mitchell. He had 20 in the period. His team with the lead. Against the Mavericks, and if Jamal Murray is not voted as an all-star this year, I am going to stage a sit-in at the NBA offices in New York.
You got your placard.
That's my
You're working on your placard at home. You're going to be walking.
I'm ready. I'm ready. He is having a fantastic
season. I agree with you, by the way. I completely concur. Jamal Murray deserves to be in that game this year.
Mitchell with a high arcing 3, no good. Loose ball chased down by Grimes as we start this fourth quarter. Nick Nurse going with Andre Drummond now at the 5 as Embiid begins the period on the bench. George turns the corner on Mobley and quick shot him for the bucket. George with 15. And George Sedano has more on Darius Garland. George, what's up?
Jonesy, legs. Darius Garland, right foot injury, which is not the same foot that he hurt in the he was dealing with in the offseason where he had surgery on his toe. So different foot, but right foot injury tonight, will not return. Also, Dominic Barlow of the Sixers, back contusion, will also not return.
Wow. Each team taking a hit tonight. That bucket good to make it a 15-point game. Here's Mitchell. And he knocks down another 3. Tim, I was about to ask you about Cleveland keeping its foot on the accelerator.
Well, that's the guy that's going to do it right there. When he gets on a roll like this, I mean, the ball just comes off his hands with perfect rotation, perfect arc. Looks the same every single time. Basket looks really big right now to one of the game's premier scorers.
Andre Drummond inside over Mobley. A hard-earned bucket. Meanwhile, for Mitchell, it's the 22nd 30-point game of the year. What an in-and-out dribble, and he'll earn 2 more free throws. And he is displaying the whole bag here tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, Philly, it felt like they had him kept in check for the most part till that 20-point third quarter eruption, and then right out of the gate to start this fourth, he gets a pass already on balance and in rhythm. Paul George just strayed a little too far from him to recover in time. You got to know right there who the hottest hand on the court is to stay home a little bit.
This guy really chases greatness. I remember when he signed his first extension, his max extension. He was down in Miami and told his representative, hey, listen, I'm going to the gym tomorrow at 6 a.m. Are you coming with me? I mean, he was still determined even after signing that max extension to get better the next moment, the next day, the next minute. And it shows on the court. 11-21 tonight, 32 points.
You know, I was a 6 a.m. gym guy at one point. Now it's more 6 p.m. or maybe not at all.
Hey, we got kids.
Yeah, that's right.
Hitchcomb out to Paul George. 18-point margin. Imposing deficit for Paul George and the 76ers. That one short to Porter Jr. Mitchell splits the double. The floater comes off the drum. Hitchcomb and Grimes rips through quickly. Back up to Drummond. One more to the rookie. And he couldn't cash out. Great hustle by Grimes. Watford had an ocean. Drummond against Mobley. Through the contact, draws the hit. And Andre Drummond will go to the free throw line. That's the 4th foul against Mobley. And the first team foul against the Cavaliers.
Ready for my fun Andre Drummond fact?
Oh, hit me.
Every time I get an Andre Drummond game, I got to bring this up. In the history of this league, rebounds per 36 minutes. Bill Russell, number 1, 19.1.
Okay.
Number 2, Wilt Chamberlain, 18.0. And number 3 on the list, Andre Drummond.
Wow.
16.3 rebounds per 36 minutes is 3rd in the history of this league. And I think most people have heard of those top 2 guys.
Yeah, 4-time NBA rebounding leader. And it's interesting. At his advanced age, not quite the winter, but certainly fall of his career, still getting in the gym with his trainer in Miami, Stan Remy, and working on threes. He's made as many threes this year as he has his entire career. Still trying to add things to his game. Porter Jr. on the snatch back inside, lost the handle. Mobley did. Grimes out and running, elevates and lays it in. It's a 15-point game.
This unit right now is doing a nice job continuing to fight, showing a lot of energy. Cleveland having to work a little bit harder right now to see if Philadelphia can finally crack the code and get this to single digits with a couple more stops.
Look at that point of attack defense by Paul George there. We got a whistle underneath, and we have a defensive 3-second call against the 76ers. So all that effort by Paul George on the ball defensively for naught. Porter Jr. will shoot the free throw. Ray Porter Jr. undrafted out of Wichita State in 2023. Betting on himself like another former Wichita State guy that went undrafted, the NBA champ known as Fred VanVleet. The those two guys have a great relationship, text back and forth, and Porter Jr. trying to replicate the same kind of success. Tyson from downtown. The lead back up to 19. Just when it looks like Philadelphia's getting closer, the lead expands again.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Tyson's a 45% three-point shooter, but in this situation, I think if you're Nick Nurse, you would have lived with that shot. Hasn't really taken threes tonight, and yet he knocks it down.
Mobley hands it off to Porter Jr. Inside, good catch by Mobley, and one. Porter Jr. with the dime drop. And it's 15 points now for Evan Mobley.
This has been the story tonight. This has just been exceptional offense all night by the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Philadelphia just has a hard time really being able to stay with them offensively with the way they've moved it, the way they've cut. 33 assists speaks to their ball movement. So when you combine that with the fact that you've got Edgecombe and Maxey right now combined at 23 points when they average 47, that's been the story of the game.
Wow, Mobley just packed that up. FedEx, next day delivery. That's his 4th block of the game. You're looking at last year's Defensive Player of the Year, putting some more money on tape here.
Yeah, he went full extension on this one. This is, I mean, when you're behind a teammate who's cut off penetration, right? And you know that because of that initial defense, offensive player really couldn't elevate, and you're just back there waiting. Now it's just a matter of can you time it up properly, and I think the Defensive Player of the Year knows how to do that.
So you're trying to tell me that it's nice to have somebody back there to have your back defensively, right?
Well, no doubt about it.
Mobley with 13 boards tonight as well to go along with his 17 points, 4 blocks. And it's interesting, Cleveland's defense this year has taken a little bit of a hit for whatever reason. Tim, 16th this year in defensive rating. Last year, they were top 5 for most of the regular season.
Yeah, offensively, too. Number 1 rated offensive team down to 8 this year. Now, look, a lot of that can be attributed to injuries and lack of continuity with their main core starting lineup. And Max Strus, of course, has been out the entire time. Other guys in and out of the lineup. Darius Garland not 100%. But it's not just that. It's been, I think, also teams a little bit more prepared to play against that style, that pace, that volume of three-point shooting.
So Kelly Oubre at the free throw line for the 76ers, down by 23. Still haven't hit the midway point of the fourth quarter. Jared Allen comes back into the ball game, as does Donovan Mitchell. Mobley and Tomlin will take a seat. Cleveland looking for their 23rd win of the season against 19 defeats as they hit the exact midway point of the regular season. Oubre 2 for 2. And Mitchell back in with 33 in the game. With the left hand. Tyson back to Mitchell. 10 on the shot clock for the Cavs. He drives it all the way in and draws the hit. So Donovan Mitchell will take his 7th and 8th foul shots of the night. He has yet to miss. Foul's going to go against Watford. And that is the 14th foul against the 76ers. That third quarter explosion by Mitchell singularly changed the tone and tenor of this game forever. Now at the free throw line. Well, today is your last chance to shape U.S. versus world rosters by voting for your All-Stars. Use your NBA ID to select your players on the NBA app. Every vote today counts 3 for 1 and gives you a chance to win a free trip to NBA All-Star 2026. No doubt 45 is going to be there for the Cavaliers. That's an easy one.
Well, without a doubt, without a doubt, the question is going to be, will he grab one of those starter spots? That's what we're kind of waiting to decide. But there's no doubt Donovan Mitchell again will be an all-star.
Paul George from 15 knocks down the elbow jump shot. 17 points in the ball game for George. Under 7 minutes to play. Mitchell sprays it out to the wing. Tyson for 3. Wet. Jalen Tyson knocks down another field goal. You know, his brother is a surefire NFL top 3-round pick, I'm told. Jordan Tyson of Arizona State. As Drummond collects the offensive board. Tried to muscle it up, had it knocked loose. Donovan Mitchell to Tyson.
Yeah, more than just a scorer. He can also make guys better. Beautiful no look, and Tyson pays it.
About that, Tim, like that's going to hurt his credit score. I mean, like, how do you, Donovan?
See, so I got to question your vernacular there. Is that a successful challenge? I'm not sure.
It depends. Now, look, if this
you're
Donovan, yeah.
Right, if this was a close game and you're talking about Mitchell getting his 5th foul or fouling out of the game, then yes, that's a successful challenge. But I don't know. You're sitting here in a 24-point game that I would call it that.
Donovan Mitchell only has 1. Allen picked up his 3rd right there. Ball will bring it up to the Cavaliers, who trail by 23. Lonzo Ball out front. Mitchell off the screen. Allen inside, punching it home.
The Sixers have just run into a very good offensive team tonight, playing at a really high level. They had great intent from the very start of this game. They jumped the Sixers early, took the crowd out of the game, and you know, the few runs that the Sixers had, Cleveland always had a response.
Tyson takes it into the lane right at Watford, but couldn't convert. Oubre Jr. couldn't collect that pass. And here's Lonzo Ball. Hands it off to Mitchell. Tyson. Nice cut by Mitchell. Sprays it to the wing. Porter Jr. one more. One more to Tyson. Man, selfless to a fault. Tyson drills another 3.
Man, he's got a nice stroke. And I said 45% on the year. He's been a nice addition to this rotation. Kenny Atkinson talked glowingly of him and his IQ for the game and what he has represented, and has been a part-time starter for them.
20th pick last year. You would think that Donovan Mitchell's night is going to end very soon with 5 minutes to go here in the 4th. His team up by a ton. And we got a timeout. Thorough Cleveland performance pretty much from the opening tip.
Yeah,
and when you think about the Eastern Conference, hey, this is a great barometer for what the Cavaliers can do when whole, right?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's why you're looking at both of these teams, honestly, are massive X factors in the East. Right? We kind of know what the Pistons have been. They've been the best team in the Eastern Conference this year. You've got the Knicks there. You've got the Celtics. The Raptors have been really good. They're in the mix. But you've got these two teams, one of which won 68 games a year ago. And then you've got the Philadelphia 76ers with the talent that they have in this starting lineup and the firepower that their backcourt with Embiid represent. And the way Embiid has played lately, there is hope here in Philly that if they're healthy at the right time of year, they could be a very difficult team to have to play in the first round.
Ball misfiring from the corner. Yeah, Embiid with his 12th consecutive game or 20 points or more. Oubre pulls the three and connects. A little over 4 minutes to go. Oubre was 7 in the ball game. But with the, of course, dismantling of the Boston Celtics, the East apparently pretty wide open. I tell you what, the Detroit Pistons have been maybe the story of the year in the Eastern Conference. They have taken another step going back to last year, making an appearance in the playoffs against the Knicks before losing. And Lonzo Ball knocks down the three. 30-point lead. Ball was 6. Oubre with the three. Drummond inside. And Drummond will go to the free throw line. Well, 3:25 to go.
You want a silver lining for the 76ers?
Yeah,
all right.
Take silver,
when you go into the film room tomorrow and you're preparing for your next opponent, you're going to be looking at them on that film session.
That's an easy one.
So when you talk about, you know, effort and just adjustments to what Cleveland did to you offensively, you know, they get an opportunity to run it back, and I'm sure it's going to be an uncomfortable film session because it wasn't just that the Cavaliers were sharper. There's also going to be some effort plays in there that I think Nick Nurse is going to point to as well, particularly I thought in that third quarter. So they're going to run it back here on Friday night, and of course you never know, like with certain guys with injuries they deal with, who's going to be available, but you would think Philadelphia would want some payback in the rematch.
As for Cleveland, this looks like the team that last year had a historically high offensive rating at one point. Leading the league in scoring as we get to the 3-minute mark. 3 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Off the steal, it's Edwards with some room service, and it's feeling a little bit like 3 p.m. at LA Fitness right now. On the auxiliary court, Tim.
You want to grab 3 guys?
Hey,
and get next?
Let's go. I got a couple shooters with me. Off the turnover. Yeah, Kenny Atkinson has to feel great about the bounce back coming off that loss against Utah a couple nights ago. And tell you what, in the last 5 days, this Cavaliers team has traveled the entire length of the spectrum, going from maybe their best win of the season Saturday against Minnesota, and then their worst a couple of nights ago against Utah, and then bouncing back tonight with a strong, brilliant performance, you would have to say, on the road against Philadelphia, a team that had won 6 of 8. Drummond inside, smokes the layup. Proctor. Nance.
2 minutes.
Well, I said they'd get 53s up, the pace they were on early. They're at, what, 43 right now? So I don't think they're going to get 50 unless you see a barrage here late. But look, this is what they've been doing the last 2 years. And there's number 44 right there, and their 19th make on the night with Lonzo Ball.
Ball was one of those key acquisitions during the offseason. He and trying to get Hunter better, a guy that got at the trade deadline last year. Oubre blocked at the rim by Bryant. But if they can get Lonzo Ball to pop to bolster the bench and get Hunter going, who has now since moved to the bench, hey, anything goes for the Cavaliers.
Well, yeah, that's the thing you question about them at times is just like the physical nature of their team and the physical toughness of their team. But make no mistake about it, on any given night, this could be a buzzsaw offensively. They can absolutely overwhelm you with their ball movement their three-point shooting and then having that, dynamic one-on-one threat that Donovan Mitchell represents, this team can be almost impossible to contain on given nights.
Proctor off the screen with the floater. And under a minute to play. Jared McCain on the floor out of Duke, draws the foul on the play. And he'll go to the free throw line. Hey, don't forget the second half of our doubleheader coming right up after this one. Aaron Gordon, back recently from his injury, averaging just over 18 points per game on 40% from downtown this year. Having a great season shooting the basketball. And he is so key to Denver's success overall as part of a guy that defensively really helps a team that struggles defensively sometimes. They're hovering around 18 to 20 for most of the year defensive rating.
It feels like Aaron Gordon is the pendulum player on that team, right? On those nights when you're talking about Aaron Gordon a lot, right? That's when the Denver Nuggets look like a champion. They've had a number of guys. Jamal Murray, we talked about, I think, having his best year. Peyton Watson, man, what a run he has gone on. Player of the week in the Western Conference, putting up over 20 a game in the month of January. So Denver really just trying to stem the tide until they get the Joker back here probably sometime early February.
And speaking of getting people back, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to our officiating friend and family member, Bill Kennedy. The microphones around the league just not the same without him right now. Tim Weichler, he's recovering from a leg injury, should be back in a few weeks. So Bill, if you're home watching, get well, brother. Thankless job that the officials do. Some of the most scrutinized referees in all of professional sports, and they do a tremendous job from game to game. Literally every whistle is evaluated and scrutinized by somebody higher up. And they do a great job.
And that's why I don't even like refereeing the games at my own basketball camp, because every time you blow the whistle, there's a 9-year-old upset with you. Like it's just a no-win situation. These are the very best in the world. Very difficult game and league to officiate. And they do a great job. And really didn't get into anything tonight that was going to be too challenging because of the way this game got out of hand here early in the fourth quarter.
A wire-to-wire job by the Cavaliers. 133-107. And they'll do it again on Friday night right here on ESPN. Beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern time, part of our doubleheader. And, of course, you'll see the Minnesota Timberwolves, the hottest team in the NBA, going back to Thanksgiving in the second half of our doubleheader on Friday night. Folks, this one is cooked, glazed, and sliced. Almost. Shot clock violation with 0.7 to go. Donovan Mitchell leading the way for Kenny Atkinson and the Cavaliers. He had 27 of his 35 in the second half, 20 alone coming in the third quarter to tilt this game in favor of Cleveland, who improves to 23-19 as they hit the midway point of the season. And they go now and even up 9-9 on the road. Donovan Mitchell certainly garnering some MVP conversation with the numbers and the leadership that have been exemplary this year for the Cavaliers. Let's go to George with Donovan.
Thanks, Jonesy. Donovan, you guys led this thing wire to wire. What led to the success tonight?
I think having the loss we had the other night after having a great win against Minnesota was really frustrating. So the biggest thing for us is coming here, setting the tone, knowing we play these guys back-to-back, kind of like a playoff vibe. So coming out, setting the tone, being aggressive, and we withstood their run, and, good things happen.
This is actually the second time you're going to be overnight on the road to play the second team. You did it against Miami earlier. You know how tough it is to win both of these. What is the plan here over the next couple of days?
Honestly, watch the film, figure out ways we can, be better. I think, at the end of the day, we won by 20-something, 30-something, but there's still ways we can be better, whether it's old boards, easy looks, keeping guys off the free throw line. Watch the film and just go from there.
And then lastly, you've talked about this numerous times, that there's not a lot of time left, right, to turn this thing on. You guys had such a successful season last year, and right now you guys are kind of in the middle of that pack. what needs to happen to be able to kind of kickstart you guys?
Yeah, I mean, last year is last year. I feel like we talk about, not just you, but like everybody talks about last year. Last year's a different year. Teams are different. At the end of the day, we can't hang our hat on what we did last year. We got to come out here and understand that it's January. It's time now. Sense of urgency for full 48 minutes. We did it tonight. Now we're going to do it again on Friday.
Well, congratulations on this win tonight, and we'll see you Friday.
Yes, sir. See you Friday. Appreciate it.
All right, Jonesy, back to you.
Trying to go back-to-back. See Friday. Cavaliers win at 133-107 for George Sedano and Tim Legler. I'm Mark Jones. Thanks for watching. So long from Philadelphia. We're going to head back to the studio. Malika Andrews, Michael Malone, Brian Windhorst, Kendrick Perkins. Right now, guys, the Cavs looking fresher than Febreze. Back to you.
Jonesy, one thing that we always value is your Jonesy-isms as we welcome you inside our Los Angeles studio. The Cavaliers, they roll in this one, Brian. I would imagine there's a lot to flush here for the 76ers, but there's one particular takeaway that could carry over.
Yeah, so this is one of the most complete games the Cavs have played this season. They had 41 assists. 8 different guys had 3 assists or more. It unlocked their three-point shooting. They're going to celebrate that, but this is what is going to be the focus over the...
Max One Music. music.